Thank you, gentlemen. If you could feel free to take a seat in the audience, or thank you so much. Ray Davis to be our celebrity moderator for this today.
He turned us down with no reply. He's a pocket veto.
That's a deep. I think our candidates laughed at that.
Oh boy. Jerry Brown. He is now both the oldest governor and one of the youngest governors of California because of the long time difference between his first term. His first term, I believe, was in the 70s, and he is now governor again. So, seeking to replace him, we've got a couple of candidates here.
We have a few candidates here.
We sure do.
Live. Let's welcome them up to the stage now. Mr. Christopher Carlson. Mr. Shubham Goel, Mr. Mikado, and Mr. Nickolas Wildstar.
Please take a seat.
Gentlemen, feel free to grab whatever mic suits your fancy.
All right.
So now I see two of our candidates have bright yellow hats on.
Oh yeah.
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush.
Yeah.
That is, of course, what brought a lot of people out to California.
1800s. It was the age of prosperity.
The 1800s is the age of prosperity. Wasn't it also the age of like a lot of horse crap in the streets and distance?
That's true, but I mean, when the people were taking the pans and looking in the river, it was magical, and that's the time we need to go back to. So.
That's also probably why there's a law in San Francisco that says you can't have shit higher than 6 feet tall.
That seems like not a law, but if
that
it
seems
is
pointed at a particular individual.
There's a law in San Francisco.
Let's see. Well, welcome all four of you. I guess Nickolas, let's start with you. Your opening statement.
All right. Hello. Check.
Yeah, you're on it.
All right. Cool. My name is Nickolas Wildstar, and I am the Libertarian candidate for California governor. I know my name makes me sound like some fancy superhero out of a Marvel comic book, but that's exactly what the state of California needs right now. We have the 5th largest economy in the world, but yet we have one of the highest rates of poverty nationwide. We also have the highest number of homeless people in the entire nation at nearly 250,000 people. We have families that are leaving the state in mass exodus. And of course, with all of the taxes that are raising, we have one of the largest gas taxes and income taxes in the entire nation. So the state is under attack, the people themselves are under attack, and they need someone to save the state. California provides over 50% of the nation's food supply. So if the state goes down, the entire nation will suffer. So we need someone to stand between the government that has ruined this state, and that is exactly what I will do for the people of California. I will stand with we the people and defend them from a corrupt government that is continually to drive our state down the downward spiral.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carlson.
Hello, my name is Christopher Carlson. In 2012, I decided that I wanted to be a guy who wrote puppet musicals. So I wrote 3 puppet musicals, and then I lost the 3rd one, and then I wrote this one, and nobody paid attention to the last one, so I decided to put my name on the ballot.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson and Mr. Goel.
Hey everyone, my name is Shubham Goel. I'm the youngest candidate for Governor of California. When I tell people I'm just 22, they sometimes have a heart attack or they can't believe it,
Because of their age?
Yeah, because of my age and because of their older age, yeah.
Yeah.
Too true. Anyways, part of the reason I wanted to run is I'm an everyday born and raised Californian. I was born in Bay Area, lived in Central California, lived in Los Angeles. Been a part of our public education system my whole life. Recently graduated from UCLA. I currently work as a virtual reality manager for a leading virtual reality company in San Francisco, so I'm able to see how all this new technology can change all the problems our government has failed to solve in the past 50 years. I wanted to run to show people, especially with these statewide governor races, you see all these ads of these guys with all this money and political backing that they'll save you with all their might, but they won't. I wanted to show the everyday person that all you need is conviction feasible platforms to run. You don't need any of that crap. That's all you've ever needed, and I want to get technology in and money out. So, yeah.
Mr. Mikado, your opening statement.
Hi, my name is Mikado, Governor of California candidate for 2018, and there are 27 people running this election. There are 4 here. You guys all have a lot of work to do to figure out who you actually want to vote for. So first of all, go figure out who's actually going to make your California a better California and vote for them. Vote your truth for change. The other thing is that we need to create policies that actually make California profitable. Not just California, but the entire nation. So we've got a couple things that we're working on. One is the Cashback Tax Act, which means that if you're a Californian or you have a California business, any money that you spend in California, you pay 0 taxes on, which is also awesome. And then the other thing is you actually get to publicly direct government spending, so you get to direct where your taxes are being spent, whether you want to spend on education, military, healthcare, or the train, or whatever you want to spend.
Funding for the arts and small theaters.
Let's see. I guess our first question, Proposition 64, legalizing marijuana for adults, passed, I guess, at the end of last year, went into effect this year. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Let's start with Mr. Mikado.
Sell a lot of pot. So, when it comes down to it, California can tax it. I think we need to take more progressive steps, allow them to put their money in a bank, because it's really hard to track something when you don't have any way to track it. So it's actually being used. There's criminal activity happening as a result of it not being able to be banked, and both on some dispensary sides and then also on them getting robbed because they don't have anywhere to put it.
Now, when you say you used to sell, my interest is piqued.
So growing up, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life. And one of the things that people asked for in high school was pot. So I found somebody who would sell it to me cheaper, and then I made a profit.
I once, me and my friends found a man who was living in the streets, and we tried to buy marijuana from him, and he went into a corner store and bought a pack of cigarettes, emptied one of the cigarettes into his shoe, and then handed it to us and said it was marijuana. And we still gave him like $60 for it. Sorry. Mr. Goel.
Yeah, one of my most important platforms is Axe the Tax and Let's Relax. We have the highest taxes in this state. It's ridiculous. I want to get rid of the gas tax, lower the sales tax, lower the income tax. We need to start bringing back wealth into this country. For Proposition 64, fully agree with it. I want to lower taxes, but we also need to get tax revenue. It's very smart for capturing the huge demand for marijuana there is, so taxing it is good. I do agree, though, we do need a centralized, database of all these vendors that are selling marijuana in California, because still a lot of these vendors are able to go uninhibited, playing hide and go seek and not, filing for taxes. If we can capture that, it's good. So I'm all for Proposition 64. Legalize that. It'll compensate for my Axe the Tax and Let's Relax platform. But I like Proposition 64.
So you want to axe the tax, but tax the grass.
Axe it, yeah, I do. Axe the tax. Have the grass, let's relax. I do, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Goel. Mr. Carlson. Proposition 64, legal marijuana. Where do you stand on it?
I believe I quote Shel Silverstein when I say, "At a table piled high with grass, as tall as a mountain peak, just tops and buds of the rarest flowers, not one stem, branch, or seed. Witness the prisoners, witness the poets, singers and scientists. Watch the show. Bob Ross on this canvas. Happy trees. This is just between us. Be proud of it."
Mr. Wildstar.
Well, I like smoking marijuana. It's one of my favorite pastime pleasures. I definitely,
That's what
I definitely support Prop 64 being something that the people of California chose to support in making marijuana available recreationally. However, I believe that it was a bit unnecessary on behalf of the government, which is why I'm proposing as governor to decriminalize all substances. I believe that would be the best way for government to get out of the industry and allow the industry itself to be able to progress and grow. I speak with a lot of independent growers as well as dispensaries, and the problem right now is them being able to actually have supply for the demand. The growers are prevented from being able to sell to these distributors, and like Hawk actually pointed out, they're unable to bank as well. So deregulation of the banking industry as well as deregulation of the cannabis industry would generate more wealth in the state. Remember, the taxes doesn't make California the 5th largest economy in the world. It's money circulating, people buying things, and that's what we want to promote here in the state of California, which is why I'd also like to eliminate all taxes and replace them with a good faith tax. This means you would be able to contribute however much that you like, and you'd be able to select where it goes to. So if you donate $100 and you want $50 of that to go towards helping the homeless, or $50 to go towards education, that's exactly what your tax dollars will be going towards specifically, and none else.
So it's an interesting conversation.
We have a system here at the Pack Theater called Pay What You Can.
This is the thing about the good faith tax, is people want to complain about how they have shitty schools, shitty roads, whatever the case may be. With the good faith tax, it will stay local. All of your taxes will stay in your community. So if you want to complain about your roads being bad, you have no one to blame except for yourself. It shouldn't trickle up to the state level. You have local representatives that are collecting those taxes from you, and they should be spending it how you, the voter, choose and decide. Now, if they're not doing their job, then that's when you give the governor a call. All right. Did you guys solid?
In other words, you want publicly directed government spending.
I do. Absolutely. I think as a libertarian, my job is to minimize government so small to where you won't recognize it. The role of the government is only supposed to be watchman of the state and mediator. 2 jobs right now that is doing terribly wrong. So I want to return the power of choice, the power of the government, because we the people is how the Constitution starts. As a sworn official, I take an oath to uphold that contract, to do everything it says on paper. And the 9th Amendment gives you a loophole to do whatever you want. You're free to do whatever you like as long as you're not hurting anyone else.
Mr. Goel, I saw you nodding your head there. Do you agree with Mr. Wildstar, or what's your take on this?
Well, no, I do agree, yeah. I mean, for the government, they've meddled their hands too much, too far, for too long. The government should let the free market be the way it is. And one thing I want to do, actually, Facebook, it's so easy. We spend so much time on Facebook. That's another discussion. But I want to create GovBook, centralized, digitalized profiles for all California office holders. This will show, thank you, yeah. This will show all the platforms they advocated for every election cycle they had, and how far they are at actually accomplishing that, and their money transactions for the past 10 years. Just as easy as it is to access Facebook, you will do GovBook. So I agree with Nickolas. Government role should be minimized but efficient. You know?
Mr. Goel, have you ever heard of the TV show Dinosaurs? It was a show that was...
He's a little too young for that.
I'm an old soul.
If you believe it, there was a show that was the #1 show on television where 4 people were in giant plastic dinosaur costumes, and a baby dinosaur had the catchphrase, "Not the mama."
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't miss out on much.
Government is the mama right now.
I'm the
We live in a
dada.
nanny state.
Oh, you're gonna really regret saying that.
As a soon-to-be dada.
But But speaking about regulations, net neutrality has become sort of a big. That was our Senate question.
Yeah.
What do you guys care about
Governor
that?
No, that's
California
still a
can't do
very important thing. I run an internet marketing agency, and net neutrality is a terrible thing.
A terrible thing.
Yes. Well, why should the government be controlling, or actually allowing the cable companies to control what we can browse and have to charge, or allow them to charge us more?
So the existence. So is that pro or against?
That's not what it does.
Go ahead, Ms. Ross.
The net neutrality bill actually prevents those businesses from being able to do that, like AT&T, Verizon, being able to throttle your service based on that. Right now, you're seeing it happen on Facebook. There's an implementation of that. If you look through your Facebook feed, now you're starting to see advertisements. Pretty soon, they're going to start charging you for ad-free service, okay? So Facebook is actually creating their own demise. Pretty soon, you're going to have tons of people leaving from it, especially with them having, privacy rights violations. People are getting sick and tired of being taken control of and taken advantage of. So if anything, as governor, I would implement a statewide net neutrality rule to prevent that from happening and allow the free market to create more opportunities, or open the free market to create more opportunities to where you have more internet service providers, not just stuck with zoning regulations to where if you live in this neighborhood, you must get Time Warner, you must get AT&T. And then you go in this neighborhood, now you must get Verizon, whatever it is. But we need to open the market completely to where wherever you go, you have tons of providers. That's how business works, and that's how you're going to be able to get a cheaper product, is by competition. Monopolizing it creates it to where now you have one company providing the majority of the service, and it's a restriction of your choice and takes away a lot of your money.
And by the way, you can check us out on Ello at ello.com/darkmattershow.
If you're against Facebook, Ello was a thing for about 2.5 weeks. 2015 maybe. It's still around. I mean,
Glad I had you to explain my jokes.
They got worldtruth.net.
Mr. Carlson, and let's let the cat out of the bag. Donald Trump, obviously, as a governor of California. Donald Trump is seeking to. A lot of his actions have been directed towards the large states like California and New York, especially his tax plan. A lot of the people hardest hit by it are people in states with high taxes, such as New York and California. So we'll start with you, Mr. Carlson, and I see for those listening at home. Mr. Carlson has a green puppet that he has brought with him that he has placed on his hand. So I will leave it to you, Mr. Carlson.
Yuck. Donald Trump is not the governor of California, and he never will be. And if you have a clown for president who has studied the heartland in Middle America and how wrestling affects them, and may actually be Andy Kaufman in disguise, that's the one I buy. Would you want any random politician that he hacks off with the knees with a machete all the time, or do you want a Second City Chicago trained clown and puppeteer?
Well, you are a trained professional, a better one than he is.
Mr. Mikado, what is your opinion of President Trump? Are you pro, con, mixed?
As an entrepreneur, he's definitely figured out how to distract people to get other shit done that he wants done. I don't necessarily agree with everything he's done and a lot of the things that he's putting in place. A lot of things he's saying he's going to do, and then what actually happens are also two very different things. So there's a lot of mixed feelings. I didn't vote for him, but I also didn't vote for Hillary. So.
Mr. Goel, what would your relationship to the president be as a governor of California?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I don't know why I said. But anyways, with DJ. DJT, honestly, I wish him the best of luck. It's acronym. No, I wish him the best of luck. I honestly wish him the best of luck. He's the head of our country. Honestly, if he does well, America does well. You know, there's some people in this country that would rather see him fail if that means America fails, you know? And I mean, I did study economics when I went to UCLA, so you have to look at the numbers. The stock market is at an all-time high. Unemployment is lower than it's ever been for most people. So I mean, when I'm governor of California, I do wish him the best. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with everything he says, but I mean, he's the head of the country. Obviously, I want him to succeed, because if he succeeds at his job, that means the country's going to do well. So, you know, yeah. I wish DJT success, but I won't rely on the federal government for success. I don't need any federal government. You put me in that office for California, it's over. Long-term residents are leaving California. Housing prices are higher than they've ever been. We have two titan industries of Silicon Valley and Hollywood. Don't be surprised if both of those industries leave this place one day. What I will do is make sure we will return to prosperity. Both those industries stay, and we will return to when California was dubbed the gold rush. People will be here, they will be happier than ever.
Dope. Mr. Wildstar, as governor, what would your relationship to the president be?
Well, I'm pretty much thinking I'm going to be a big thorn in the man's side. I will be defending the state against the federal government for the people's choice to have marijuana. I will also defend the people's choice to have immigrants here that are undocumented. I actually have a post on my Instagram page talking about if Donald Trump comes to California, he will be arrested. And that is a threat that I'm willing to follow through on. Reason being is because you have an oath of office that you're taking just as I do. And my oath of office is to protect the people of California. So if you violate that oath, coming here to my state, you will be arrested. Any of your ICE agents will be arrested. You have no jurisdiction in the state of California, Donald Trump. According to the Constitution, which is again what we're swearing to uphold as elected officials, it designates the president and the federal government to a 10-mile radius of Washington, D.C., meaning they have no jurisdiction in the state of California. So, again, my role as governor is to make sure that I'm standing up for the rights of the people of California and make sure that I'm defending the Constitution and protecting them from any threat, foreign or domestic.
So, one follow-up question. I guess we had Mr. Reed earlier, who's also running as a libertarian, and I guess what do you see as like overlap between your views? Because I see a lot of potential conflict between you two.
Well, that's the one thing about the libertarians. Not all of us are the same. They're expecting. We're not like every other political party where you have this ideology that you must uphold. The only principle that applies to libertarians is you understanding the application of liberty. And that's you having the freedom, as I said before, to do whatever you please to do as long as you're not harming anyone else. That's the non-aggression principle that we all know and live by. It's the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. So I've been treating my man Chris Carlson right here like gold because he is one of the other candidates that I've come across on the campaign trail that is pure of heart and wants to serve the people of California. He really does care about helping the people. And the one thing that we are showing with our joint campaign together with the Green and the Gold Party as Libertarian is we're trying to show the public that you can choose two good guys opposed to the two lesser evils. So instead of voting red and blue, vote green and gold. Woo! All right? This is true partisanship right here, working together.
course, another requirement of the Libertarian Party is to prominently display Atlas Shrugged in your living room.
Those are great movies. See 1, 2, and 3. Trust me.
I guess before we get to closing statements, Mr. Carlson, would you like to play a song for us? Or is that guitar for show?
I could play a song.
Yeah.
Sure. Why don't we, how about this? I have a proposal. Why don't we end on the song?
Yeah, I can play a song at the
That
end.
sounds like a good closer,
Alright.
Yeah.
right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yes.
I am. So it seems like you're talking about your green and gold, and we have a question we mailed out to you guys, which I think we can tie into your closing statements here. And that question is, if elected governor, what would be the first action that you would take in your first day in office? So, Mr. Mikado, let's start with you. What would be your first action, day one, you are in Sacramento, and this is your big statement, what would that be?
Let's get rid of income tax for money that's being spent in California, and make sure that if you are spending money in California or paying taxes in California, you get to direct it to whatever you want to spend it on, like arts and music and pot.
Great.
I just first close.
Mr. Goel has stood up on his chair.
The first hour of when I am elected, the Board of Regents controls the. Sorry, it's higher than I thought. The Board of Regents.
Are you talking about your balls?
No, the elevation. The first thing I will do is the Board of Regents controls the 9 UC campuses. The Board of Regents is appointed by the governor. The first thing I will do is the governor will no longer appoint the Board of Regents. The students of the UC system will appoint the Board of Regents themselves. This will protect instances like when the president of the UC, Janet Napolitano, got caught up hiding $175 million last year, which is insane. This would never happen if students elected the regents who could hold the president accountable. Anyways, my name is Shubham Goel, and I'm the youngest candidate at 22. When I tell people, I know people are like, oh what? This is like a leprechaun, this can't happen, you know? Their hearts palpitating, like they just don't understand it, they don't comprehend it. But my thing is, you don't need money, you don't need fame. If you have energy, if you have ideas, if you have conviction, it is your civil liberty to the state to run or do something about it. So anyways, I'm a virtual reality manager. I want to use technological and feasible platforms to improve the state as a whole. So the Gold Rush, that's the slogan. We will return to an age of prosperity. And the prosperity will be so prosperous.
Along with that.
You can, would you like to make a closing statement right now?
I'll make it after.
Sure.
Alright, Mr. Carlson.